Welcome to GardenFork Radio. It's another episode of Eric in New York. I'm walking down 5th Avenue and 51st Street in Brooklyn. So this is Sunset Park. It's the neighborhood I live in. And I got some good feedback from the subway trip to Manhattan. And I thought, well, I already have to walk, and I wanted to make a solo episode for you all. I have a show all recorded with Rick, and I left it up at our little weekend house, and we are not there for a while. So I'm sorry, Rick, and sorry y'all, because it's classic Rick. But it'll be appropriate when we post that. So I'm going by the vegetable stand and the cell phone store here. There's a vegetable stand and a cell phone store on almost every block here in my neighborhood because people like vegetables. There's also meat. A carniceria is it called? Is that a butcher in Spanish? The Spanish is pretty bad. Thankfully, most people here speak at least some English, so the wind is blowing. That might affect our recording here. And crowded sidewalks. People are out. A lot of people wearing masks. I think it's just an abundance of caution, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I am fully vaccinated. I do not have a mask on the sidewalk. When I go into a store, I put on my mask. I think that's, we could get into the science of aerosoling of the coronavirus, but I think that's pretty good. So I just had an interesting story about our dog walk and the coffee shop we go to. It's kind of a human nature observation. We walked our dogs in the park, Sunset Park, and on the corner is a coffee place, and the camera operator likes to get an iced coffee. So I go in, and I'm pretty sure I'm his first customer of the day. And I noticed that the tip jar has like $5 or $6 in singles in it already. And so I said to Herman, am I the first customer, or someone else give you a really big tip here? And he said, oh no, we've learned that for the tip jar, if there's nothing in it, people don't put any money in it. And if there is just coins in the tip jar, people put coins in the tip jar. And if there are dollar bills in the tip jar, people put dollar bills in the tip jar. So it's very interesting observation there of human nature. And I've learned a little bit about that actually with the GardenFork patron support program. I'm not quite sure anyway, the people that support the podcast with a monthly contribution. And the ideal number for GardenFork is $5 a month. It has to do really with, if you pledge a lower amount, a lot of it gets eaten up by the credit card processing fee, and Patreon charges a small amount as well. And at a low dollar amount, that eats up a lot of the dollars. So on the Patreon contribute page, it's a contribute $3 button, contribute $5 button, and a contribute $10 button. Because I think I've read somewhere that people don't want to pick the lowest number, but they don't want to pick the highest number to make a contribution usually. So they pick the middle number, and that really helps. That really helps get the podcast done. It's amazing. The people that are patrons, I'm always flattered by it. So anyway, I thought that was some human nature. And the other thing, I was walking down here, and my neighbor was watering we call it a tree pit. It's the rectangular area in the sidewalk that has been cut out of cement, and the trees are planted there. We have a lot of London plane trees on our block, which I'm guessing are like 40 years old. And there are metal guards, cast iron decorative guards that go around them. And on the street side, there isn't a guard because cars parallel parking, if people don't know how to parallel park, they bash into the tree guard and bend it. So on that side, it's open. And there are certain people that will walk their dogs and let them use the tree pit as a place to go. And then they don't pick up after their dog. And this happens especially at night. So a bunch of my neighbors have strung string, like jute twine, like Cecil, across. I'll take a picture and I'll put it into the web post about this. Maybe I could put it on Instagram too. But to thwart the dogs from even coming into the tree pit. So it's kind of an interesting, again, a passive way of trying to affect human change, trying to affect change or influence human nature. It's much like there is a fire hydrant. There are 3 fire hydrants on our block. And when I first moved here, I noticed an awful lot of people blocking the fire hydrants to go shop on the avenue, which is a merchant, it's a retail avenue. And I'm all about safety, as we know. So I painted, much like I did at our previous block where we lived in Park Slope of Brooklyn. I actually was written up in the New York Times about this. Maybe I have to link to that. But I painted I went to Home Depot and bought the Krylon parking lot striping paint, which you can buy it in a gallon. And it's like a caution yellow, heavy-duty latex paint. And I measured out, the 15 feet you're supposed to be away, and I made it a big rectangle so the rectangle juts into the street. I think I make it a 9-foot rectangle, so the yellow juts definitely into the street. And a lot fewer people block the hydrant because that orangey yellow rectangle is painted there, because they know they just can't block the hydrant with their car, and then the police won't realize it because the police see the yellow rectangle and they write a ticket. They don't write a ticket every time, but a lot of times they do. The flip side is there are people like myself who will park in the hydrant for a few minutes. We put our flashers on and to unload the car, to get the Labradors out or unload lumber or, went to Costco. Costco's a dangerous place. So that's another little human passive behavior modification. Would that be it? I think so. Kind of like the pedestrian, what they call it in England, the UK, they call them zebra stripes. The slashes, the lines across the crosswalks. I think it helps get people to walk in the crosswalk rather than across the middle of the block, but it also, I think, makes drivers more aware that when they see that there might be people in that thing walking. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know about that. It's radio@gardenfork.tv. I just got to my house here. So, I got to fix this. The puppies are still small enough that they can get under the gate in the front of the row house. So I brought my flux core welder down and I'm going to weld some square stock that kind of sticks down, and hopefully that will keep them from going underneath, because they're all sweet and it's all, but you just don't want them being able to squeeze under there and run out into the street. That's my nightmare, is that they would do that. So all right, so let's go inside. About $5 a month to get behind-the-scene photos, pictures of what Eric's been up to, some little walk and talks about what's going on in Eric's world, and more pictures of the Labradors, plus just stuff I find cool and interesting that I'm not going to post on Instagram or Facebook because it's just too public sometimes, but I'm happy to share it with people that are in the world of GardenFork. That's what my Patreon thing is all about. It's people like yourselves are kind of like modern day Medicis. I'm going to screw that up. But basically supporting someone like myself, a content creator, directly rather than having to listen to ads for Audacity or something like that. So if you're interested, there's a link below to sign up, or actually there's a link below just to find out more information. You don't have to do any signing up. But it's patreon.com/GardenFork. Patreon.com/GardenFork. Thank you. There's two Labrador puppies here. Hi, can you hear their tails wagging? Here, whack your tail against my leg. Oh, I don't think you can hear. Hi, wanna go in the backyard? There you go. Want to give you a fig tree. Oh, the stick, let's play with the stick. Yeah, there you go. I wanted to give you a fig tree update. This is all prompted by two things. I helped. We have cats and raccoons and possums that roam the backyards here. So they generally stay out of our backyard. I think it's just the mere scent of the dogs. But I guess we're done barking. Anyway, a long time ago, I was at Whole Foods, and they always have a little flower section, and they had fig trees. Like a fig tree was about 2 foot tall in a pot for $20, and I bought one, and I wasn't quite sure I wanted to plant it in my backyard because I had a slightly different idea. Oh, that was when the hop plants were on the side, and I thought, oh, there's no room for that and the fig tree. So I gave the fig tree to one of my best friends, Brian, who was on the show. He does he's the drone pilot, and in a matter of years, the thing is like 10 feet tall and giving off figs. Again, he has a row house like ours, and the backyards are protected. It's basically a 1, 2, 3. There's a 3-story building, so that's 3 times 12. It's like a 36-foot high cement wall around your garden. And the garden is big. It's long and narrow, but it's warmer in the backyards than it is in the front yards in the winter. So you don't have to wrap the fig tree. You have to wrap them in plastic or burlap or bury them halfway. All sorts of stuff like that. But anyway, he was getting like fresh figs. And then in my own backyard here, my neighbor on the one side had a fig tree that had been continually cut back. I guess they kind of thought it was a weed or something. And then one year they just let it grow and it flourished. And now, several years later, it's about... All right, thank you. Hey, Spiker. They must be smelling a cat or something. Girls, it's okay. Spiker's hair is all up here. She's the talker. Well, she's the barker. Andy's the talker. Anyway, so now that fig tree, very nicely, several of the branches lean over the fence into my yard, and I'm eyeing some beautiful green figs that will be ripe later in the summer. So then I thought, the hops are kind of a pain. They're very invasive. They're like a beast. They're beautiful, but my neighbor on the other side wasn't loving it, I don't think. And so I pulled that out, and I divided it up, and a bunch of my neighbors wanted them here in Brooklyn. And I warned them, I said, this will take over. You have to plant it in a container. The roots are like thick ropes. I really had to wrestle to get it out of the ground. And I hope they took that advice. I don't know. But I was looking around for fig trees and pawpaw trees because my neighbor has 2 pawpaw trees and the fruit is delicious. Anyway, I'm kind of reviving the backstory here to say that in Connecticut at a nursery in Torrington, which is fairly north in Connecticut, I found the local nursery had like 10 fig trees, one of which is a brown turkey fig, which is a it's considered a common fig. People, fig experts kind of go, oh, but I'm like, look, they're figs and they're in your yard, and sometimes it will grow 2 flushes of fruit. And then I got a Chicago Hardy, which evidently was bred for the winters of Chicago, protected winters of Chicago. So I thought, well, I'll do okay in Brooklyn here. And they are going really great. The Chicago Hardy is 2.5 feet high. The brown turkey fig has a more spreading habit. It was pruned. There wasn't a center trunk. What's that word? Aaron, what's the word for that? Center leader. And it was pruned to kind of bush out. So it is kind of growing along the ground and then coming out. And the Chicago Hardy is more tall. How's that? Their leaves are definitely different. Similar in style, but still different. And I've got them protected from the dogs from some of that green plastic chicken wire, for a lack of a better, or very large hold hardware cloth. And I've got it staked, and it looks pretty darn ugly. But the dogs have not mashed up my fig tree. So I think I'm going to keep that up the rest of the year. And they're not chewing on each other's faces here. But anyway, I just thought, the schedule for getting the shows out got a little gummed up there. Not surprising with Eric. Coming up is going to be Nicole and I are going to record a show on Friday. Nicole was asking me about the video I made about a single point flat TV mount going on the wall, and it's a single point. In other words, it only connects to one place on the wall, and you have to be in a stud. And she was asking, how come you can't mount that just on the sheetrock? You have to be in the stud. And then she, being the proactive one who has her act together, unlike me, she said, let's just do a podcast about this. So we're going to do that on Friday. It's always fun to talk to Nicole. She's just got great stuff going on. Oh, I've been presented with a ball. This ball doesn't squeak. It's a squishy ball, and it has an air hole in it. So Spiker likes to just have this in her mouth. It looks surprisingly like a coronavirus model. The ball, it's got like a sphere with spiny things sticking out. It looks a lot like that, but it's a ball she can play with. Here you go. You're going to wag your... no ball. You know what? Okay, I'm going to put the ball down there. Now you're going to chew the ball. Labradors are mouthy. They just like to have something in their mouth. Andy likes to carry your forearm around. They have what's called a soft mouth because they're a retriever. So if you're hunting ducks, they go get the duck. They don't mangle the duck and they bring it back to you. So the urban version of that is your forearm. So anyway, one other thing I wanted to talk about. I'm going to go see my friend Richard in Park Slope, and I'm going to ride my e-bike, my Rad Power Rad Runner Plus, which I really like. And I have a coupon. If you're interested in buying any Rad Power bike, you can get $50 off, and I get an affiliate. I think they send me a gift card. Anyway, I think they're a great company. There are other companies in their price point now, I've noticed, but I have owned 3 Rad Power bikes. I now own 2. The first one I bought, it was too big for me, but they're great bikes. It's just it makes riding a bike fun again. Like I saw my neighbor has an e-bike the other day, and he said, yeah, I feel like a kid again. And he's much older than me, and he's cycling around. So if you're interested, there'll be a link in the notes here. So there should, iTunes, in the podcast app, it is a clickable link. So there you go. All right, let me know what you think, as always. And could you go to iTunes and leave a review? There haven't been any reviews lately. And just some sort of nice words, at least for the Labradors, and 5 stars. And that helps other people discover the show. The more reviews you get and more timely reviews, the more Apple will put you higher in their recommendations. So, and it's interesting because we're one of the few podcasts that is not a true crime show. But if you're interested in true crime, there's a very good one called West Cork by a company called yarn.fm. That's their website, yarn.fm, West Cork. Anyway, go out and do cool stuff and make it a great day. I'll see you. GardenFork Radio is produced in Brooklyn, New York by GardenFork Media, LLC. Our executive producer is Jimmy Gooch. You can learn more about Jimmy and the custom hollow books he makes at hollowbooks.com. The music for our show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.